this call I want to talk about is I know we just got off of a call with Coach Cole, who wants to do our crypto, who's going to be doing our crypto 101 classes. That is, getting started. Today was just more about introducing about his knowledge and who he is and how he got started. As they say, learn from other people's mistake and, you'll avoid the pitfalls. So right now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a dedicated education package for that session. So Cole knows that everybody that wants to take their class already have gone through the materials. So this week, we're going to be putting those materials together. We're going to upload that into our education portal. It will say Crypto 101 education. So click on it. We're gonna get the basic information available to everybody. Obviously, the advanced classes are going to be on the bigger packages, but at least if people would understand and have value or understand the value of what we're teaching, they'll definitely up their education courses. I've been working really closely with Cole, and it's been a great journey because me, even being in the industry, have learned so much from him. And that's the beauty of New Era, because we're always learning from each other. We're always learning different things and different tactics. Next call after that, we're going to be hosting, which will be next month, because we do have another lady that has joined our team of educator. She is the expert in AI. She has developed almost 45 different AI application, and she wants to actually educate us and how that is done. The beautiful part about that is once you understand how to create AI applications, you could offer that services to a lot of other people, a lot of companies, which will allow you to create another passive income opportunity. She has created applications for cars and how to using AI, how to validate a car before you even buy it. You know, she created an AI application to answering questions. We are implying that whole process into New Era. New Era itself is going to have a new look, but that is something we're going to do launch in October at our Egypt event. You're going to see a whole new look back end of New Era and how simple we're making it for you to introduce New Era. It'll just generally be a single link that you would have to send out. That link will talk about who you are, why you joined New Era, what is New Era, what has it done for you, and then your sign up links is going to have AI answering all the questions. The concerns will be answered, and so people can make a better decision, and it makes it easier for us to duplicate ourselves. Now, hope everybody's enjoying our journey so far. We're almost hitting our 1 year marker. I'm super excited. You know, my phone, my Google just sent me a picture of the first time we got together, and I was flying out to Dubai. And I just, it's such an emotional attachment because, there hasn't been a company out there like this. You know, there hasn't been a company out there that where everybody's putting their heart and soul into it and everybody's giving their time, everybody's there. And I openly say, my number, my personal number is always available on WhatsApp. Anybody could reach out to me. And I love supporting my community because the stronger the community, the stronger the company. So next bit I want to talk about, it's a presentation that I've been doing here. That actually talks about the changes that are coming in the world that some people are not even aware of. People are, not knowing how much the back end systems are changing. So I'm gonna do a presentation on that. It's just an overview of where things are moving, and how you could be part of it. Either you become the user of it, or you uh, you know, become a financial person of that product. One of the examples that I usually give is iPhone, Apple. A lot of us use Apple iPhones, but Apple came out with a great technology. But if they did not have a community of users, then it's just a great product that has nothing to it. So If we could understand, if we would have bought Apple shares, we could have bought many Apple phones. But we decided to invest in a single phone and not invest in our future. So anything like that, Tesla, Samsung, Google, Facebook, I could name millions and millions of companies out there that are successful. Why? Because they created a real good product and they got all the community hooked to it. So we want to hook you to New Era. We want to give you more value than your buck in New Era. And yet again, no company out there that actually giving you to educate yourself. So I'm going to do a presentation. This is a presentation that I start off with here in Canada when I do presentations with people, because you got to build a story. You got to let people know why, where things are headed, and why we need to understand and have a knowledge. So hope you guys like this presentation. It is Canadian set based, so don't mind some of the Canadian things that are on there. But I'm going to start off real quickly. So it is the year of the dragon that comes every 12 years. I mentioned that I think in previous meetings. So we're celebrating that because we want to celebrate everything that's being out there and respect everybody's culture. Out here is a big we have a big Asian Chinese market in the city that I live in. So we want to start off with that. Second thing is we're hockey fans out here. Unfortunately, our hockey team got kicked out. We still have one Canadian team that's fighting. So all the Canadians right now are glued to their TV, because I know in Europe they're about soccer, we're about hockey. So unfortunately, these guys didn't make it both next year. And as they were honoring the Canucks. Now, what's happening right now is there's an economy collapse that is coming. It is coming. It's one of those slow poison, is what I call it. They're slowly bringing it in, but it's coming in. There was a time, just gas alone itself used to be less than $1. We're paying more than $2 right now. Groceries, we used to buy bread, eggs, and milk under $10. Right now, you could barely get a bread for $5. The point of the matter is things are changing. Things are getting more expensive. People that have a job are not getting any raise. They need to look for something else to do. Out here, they're saying that the house that I'm living in right now, 10 years ago was worth $500,000. In 10 years, this house is now more than $1.5 million because the housing prices have gone up. People are struggling. Mortgages are going up. Our interest rate, our capital gain interest rate, our capital gain tax just went up to 66%. Anybody that has over $250,000 is paying 66% in tax. Things are changing. Layoffs are happening. A lot of people are losing jobs. These are some big companies that are laying people off. We got Twitter, we got Microsoft, we got Meta, we got Amazon. Because of AI, because AI is replacing. Elections are happening worldwide. That is the reason I talk about election. I don't like talking about politics, but the reason I'm highlighting election is every new government is going to be making decisions on where things are going to be headed. Right now, I know people, I don't know if people like Donald Trump or not. It doesn't really matter about if you like it or not, but he is saying that crypto is going to be mainstream when he comes as president. Now, what if you could predict the future? How do you predict the future? Is you look at the past. You look at all the struggles and everything that people have gone through in the past, to avoid the pitfalls. And that's why we got Cole on board, because he has already been through those pitfalls of crypto. I have already been through those pitfalls of crypto. So we want to make sure when you get involved that you have the knowledge. And instead of why can't you turn that into an opportunity? All this negative that I talked about, I hate talking about negative. How could we turn this into positive? Housing, you know what? With crypto, we could do tokenization. Now, instead of this $1.5 million house that I'm sitting in, it could be owned by everybody through fractional ownership. So we're creating positivity, taking all the negative. You know, to know what's in the future, you must learn from the past, as I mentioned. The then and now. How many of us remember this right here? This used to be Google back in the days, the encyclopedia. We used to go down to the library, open up an encyclopedia, and read about what had happened in the past. But what happened? We got introduced to internet. When internet came out in the 90s, people were like, no, it's not going to happen. This is not going to happen. There were a lot of naysayers. But the younger generation was living on to this. Then we had Google search in 1998. Google did not get all this information because it had this supercomputer. We gave all that information to Google, and they made all this millions of dollars. But now, not anymore. Now things have changed. Now there are applications, there are browsing companies that are actually paying you for that information. And that is where Web3 is coming on board, and which are going to educate you on. How many of us remember this? Vinyls. And I don't remember it, but people used to say before it was one song, then it became two songs. Then all the songs went into a computer. And then we had all these revolutions that came in. Things change. People adopt to it. You know, a lot of people said, no, cell phone, that's not going to work. iPod, people had it. They bought into these products. What if you could have bought into the shares of these products? It would have led you to a lot of financial. So a lot of these people, they want us to hook on to that, and they don't give us that financial literacy. Right here, this is music industry is huge, and this is where it all started. You know, we got Spotify. Now you could get millions of songs on a single application. Touchstone right here. How many of us had this? You know, the speed dial on this right here was to push the dial back fast so you could speed dial the next one. But, you know, and getting wireless was getting a bigger extension cord. Technology has moved. It has revolutionized. Then we had from here to here. You know, how much did you pay for your first cell phone? You know, a lot of people paid almost $4,000 to have their first cell phone. From there, it moved. I know a majority of the people have these phones. I'm from the cell phone industry. I used to repair these phones and work on them, and they have improved. This is what it looks like. I actually have a phone that does the fold open, you know? I run my whole business off of this one piece of device. So, you know, things are changing. I don't know if this was available. It was a movie rental place where you would go in and rent movies, blockbusters. You know, then in 2020, in 2007, you know, Netflix launched. Blockbuster had an opportunity. Now, this is the thing I talk about. You don't want to miss opportunity. Blockbuster had an opportunity to buy Netflix. And because the owner, the CEO, or the CEO of the company did not have that vision, when Netflix was going up, Blockbuster was bankrupt. Right now, well, not even right now. Right now, I'm sorry, Netflix is worth $32 billion. How did Netflix become this big? Because we are the ones that are sitting there watching it. It's all about usability. Innovation is moving at a scary fast pace. Things are changing so fast, so fast, so fast, it's hard to keep up. You know, now what I want to say is there are three types of people in the world. People who make things happen. People who watch things happen. And people that just don't know what happened, have no idea what happened, what just came and what just went. Now you decide what kind of person are you? Where do you fit? Now major shifts are happening around the world. We're moving from centralized control to decentralized. meaning giving the power back to the people. And that is something we're going to be talking about next Friday with Cole. Moving from fiat money to cryptocurrency, understanding it. The problem with people right now is they want to touch and feel and really have possession of things. They're not understanding this whole digital numbers. But unfortunately, majority of our banking system is already digital. You never get the money you put into the system. Things are changing. And one thing that I want to talk about, a lot of people are not aware of, is CBDC and the social credit system. Now, why is decentralized? Why does decentralized matter? Because centralized power is the problem. You know, there's no transparency. Too much government control. You know, corruption, distrust. Now, what happened? I'll give you a little scenario of an article that I read 2 years ago. There was a major bank here that lost $2.6 billion in cash. Lost, don't know where it went. Bank that we trust. 2 years later, it came to find out when they did the when they did the investigation that yeah, they did something naughty. I don't want to say it right now because it's on Zoom, but they did something naughty and they were trying to cover up for it. I'm not saying that everybody's evil, but all I'm trying to say is we gotta understand that there's a major shift that is coming. If we could do our voting system through blockchain, people could vote from their home by using their biometrics, scanning their fingerprint, and giving their vote instead of getting in line and doing this craziness. But yet again, we have to understand the technology. We have to understand this change that is coming. You know, the great trust shift. I trust in my community. I trust Michael, right? Michael trusts another person. Now, if our trust could combine and move things around, it makes it that much easier. And that is what mining is. That is where we run nodes. So that is another topic that Cole's going to talk about in the coming time. You'll get a better understanding of it. We're moving from CeFi, which is centralized finance, to DeFi, which is decentralized finance. This is where crypto is. This is where a lot of things are. This is where our Visa, our need card is at. It's things moving, not from a centralized place. Now, fiat money to cryptocurrency. The key difference is that centralized to decentralized. We gotta understand that. This is gonna repeat itself a couple of more times until you get what decentralized is and the power in decentralized. Now, as Cole was sharing, I'm going to reshare. In 2010, if you had $10,000 saved in your bank account under your pillow or in your mattress, unfortunately, with inflation, with changes, it would have deflated to $8,840. Physically, looking at it, you would have 10,000 in your hand. But when you go out there to spend it, it's only worth 8,840. Now let's talk about Bitcoin. If you would have invested if you would have bought 10,000 Bitcoin for $41 back in 2010, and the same year that your money deflated, look at where this went. And at the current value, this is old number, just add a 69 to this. That's how much Bitcoin would have been worth right now. Your $41 in 14 years would have been worth this. Yet again, as I said in the previous meeting, a lot of people would not have been able to hold this long because there wasn't enough information. I got lucky because I forgot about it. So there's nothing to cry about right now because there's plenty of other cryptos that are coming that could surpass this. So don't worry, as we give you this knowledge, if we give you this data, you'll enjoy it. Now, another thing that just happened right now this year is called the ETF. Exchange Traded Funds. What that generally means is these big boys or big banks, the big hedge funds got involved into crypto, got involved into Bitcoin. Now, the issue with that, a lot of people don't understand, is that when you do an ETF on a Bitcoin, meaning that you go to the bank and say, hey, bank, here's my hard-earned money. I'm going to give it to you. I want you to go there and buy Bitcoin for me. Unfortunately, you do not have possession or you do not own those Bitcoins. The bank do. They only give you what they make off of it when they charge fees. A lot of people don't know that. I had a friend went in, put in an ETF, and I said, buddy, what are you doing? You don't own that Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes from 69,000 to millions, you don't make anything. The banks do. That is taking advantage of people's lack of knowledge. So this happened. Ethereum is about to ETF also. This year, we also had what's called the Bitcoin halving. Now, that just generally means is as Bitcoin transactions are processed, less and less Bitcoin is paid to the processing company. You could be a Bitcoin processor. If you get a machine, you could hook it up and run it and get paid on it. But as that progresses, by 2040, there won't be any more Bitcoin to be mined. Every Bitcoin would be circulated, meaning people will either have possession of it or that Bitcoin is going to be moving in between people. And every time that happens, Bitcoin has tend to go up. Now, are we early? Are we late? Where do we stand right now in life? Don't worry, there are only 420 million users for Bitcoin in the world. This is an old stat, but there are 5 billion internet users out there. So we're still in the early stage, early adoption of this cryptocurrency adoption. So you need to we're still in the early process of adoption, so it's still not too late. Yeah, the bandwagon or the train for a Bitcoin might have left, unless you're willing to buy a whole Bitcoin and no financial advice is being given here. There's still an opportunity to understand and grasp this whole cryptocurrency projects that are coming out. Now, the biggest question that I run into, people that ask me, is how, where, who will guide me? Who can I trust? What can I trust? What wallet should I download? What exchange should I use? How should I hold my crypto? All these questions are going to be answered when Cole does his next presentation. That is going to be in our Crypto 101. I think majority of this information is available on our NIE education portal in the back end, but we're going to do a deep dive and more information will come in from it. Now, let's talk about CBDC. It's called the Central Bank Digital Currency. The whole banking sector is changing right now. If people that understand how bank used to work, how country used to work, and how they could have money, is whatever the amount of gold or resources you had, you were allowed to print that much money. Unfortunately, right now, that has been completely wiped out. Now, every time the government needs money or they need to bail a company out, a big company out, you know what they do? They just go to their printing press, turn it on, and off goes the print, and they start printing as much as they can. That is bad enough. Now imagine if they could have control by actually programming the money, just like cryptocurrency is. Cryptocurrency, when you have like say Bitcoin, it's only 20 million Bitcoin that are available. And that's it. They're not, it's a finite, it's only a limited amount of it. Sorry, it's not finite, but it's only a limited amount of it. But imagine where you could just keep programming money. And not only program the money, but actually have full control over it. Now, this map right here is highlighting the countries that are in research, that are proof of concept, that already have pilot, and that already have launched. Now, if you go right here, these countries right here have already launched their central bank digital currencies. These guys right here are in the pilot stage, and development stage. But yet again, they're not going to launch until people are used to it. Because they're not going to educate you, they're not going to guide you, and they're not going to come out and say, oh, you know what, here you go, Michael, let me teach you everything. Because they want you to make mistakes. They want you to lose money. They want you to sign on a dotted line that the verbiage you don't even understand. I'm not hating on anything, but this is the reality of things that are coming. So we could either be part of it or, be the person that holds the technology. Now, yet again, as I told you, this will come back centralized to decentralized based on permission, private blockchain issued by and governed by central bank, and need to do what's called the KYC. With decentralized, it's based on, it's a public blockchain, right? You have private issued, there's no control over it. It's all by private users and no clear regulation. My money is my money. Nobody has to know about it. And that is what decentralized is. As Cole talked about sending USDT over using the Tron network, it takes seconds. But if I was to go into the bank right now to wire transfer some money to Michael, it will take weeks. A CBDC would, what is the future? How is our privacy? We're fighting to be private. We don't want people to know. And the biggest thing is having no access to your bank account. And I'm a living proof. This happened to me 2 years ago. That the banks did not like what I was doing. They said, we don't like the way you're doing business. And they shut me down. They hold my funds for 3 months, and then they released it. And the reason was that I had transferred, a lady had transferred some funds over to me through electronic transfer, and she also supported our freedom fighters. So this is coming. How would you live? How would it feel when you went into a restaurant, you had a nice meal, and your card didn't work because the bank didn't like the way, because they didn't like because you ate there or you said something. It happened. What options do you have to protect yourself and your assets? Here's a little cartoon, you get free cash, but they did. But as long as you comply. I'll tell you something yet again. I don't want this to be controversy. They were paying people to take the jab here in Canada. So I'm telling you, we need to wake up and really not give so much of our trust into this untrusted world. This is in Canada. This happened right here. These people they were fighting for their freedom. These truckers right here stood up for Canada. And you know what happened to them? The leader got into jail and their bank accounts got frozen. They had no money to feed their. So freedom is our choice. But if you don't have the right information, the right details, it's nothing. This is probably, I'm going to skip through this right here. This is another section that I want to talk about. It's a social credit system. It's already has been applied in China. I went out to China in 2018 and they would not take cash to buy merchandise. Why? Because there's no way of putting their cash into the bank. Now, in China, everybody's a number. There are cameras, there are literally, I feel there's one camera to one person out there. And depending on what you do, if you cross the street illegally, your social score goes down, you're a bad person to the society. You lose control over things. If you did not put your garbage on time or you threw your garbage on the road, yes, those are bad things. We don't want to do that. But, educate us. This is what they're doing is they're getting permission of getting insurance, access to luxury, travel, school, getting a job, internet access. All that is being controlled, and it's coming everywhere, but they're going to slowly test it in. Is our own social credit program coming to America, or is it already here? Unfortunately, it's already here. Why? because we gave all that data away by having this right here. We can't live without it, but we are giving them the time we get up because we set alarms, and the time we leave our home, the breakfast we have, the amount of driving we do, the gas we put in. We literally gave them our eye retina, our fingerprint. We gave them all this data happily and freely. But now there are companies that are paying us for information like that. Yet again, I don't want to sell my information. Every month I get a update from Google telling me where I've been, where I traveled, how much I traveled, where I ate. I'll tell you a funny story. When I was in UK, I used the bathroom there, and it literally told me where I used the bathroom. It took a picture and said you were there. So unfortunately, we can't live without it. Sometimes we'll leave our kids at home, but if we leave our phone at home, we make a U-turn, we drive back and say, we got to pick up our phone. Kids, they'll manage. Phone, we can't manage without. But it is what it is. American social credit system rolling out has begun. Now, another big thing people don't know about is the IMFC. It's called the International Monetary Fund. Now, over 190 countries have their input in this, and all these great people that you're looking here are big corporation, big banks that determine what needs to be next. And what needs to be next is this is one of the managing director of IMF. She says central bank digital currency should be used alongside social credit system to control what people can and cannot buy. That's her real quote. These are the people that are running this whole financial sector, deciding how much oil should be and how much baby diapers should be, how much food formula should be, or how much a bag of carrots should be. And it's real. Go search it. Do your research on it. How much cell phone bills should be, how much electricity bills should be. It's not determined by anybody but them. Now, I'm gonna, sum it up with this: the boiling frog. How do you boil a frog? You don't just put it in hot water because it'll jump out. What you got to do is slowly turn the temperature up. Get him comfortable. Get him in nice warm water, then you turn it up a little, turn it up a little. And what's going to happen eventually, because he's going to get so comfortable, a lot of people are in their comfort zone. They're going to just eventually die. He's going to be cooked and be dead. So, yet again, it rolls out to three types of people: people who make things happen, people who watch things happen, and people who have no idea what happened. Now, which type of person are you is completely up to you. People that are on this call, people that are always on our call, on our Zoom calls, that are always willing to take the next step, are the people that are making things happen. Some people are watching. People that we introduce this business to, they're just sitting there watching, seeing how far you're gonna go, or how far is the company gonna go. And then you're gonna have people that you already talked to about, but they're gonna be so blindsided. They're gonna be like, oh, they're gonna get out one day and be like, oh yeah, I remember you talking about Bitcoin. Can I get in now? Well, too bad. You can't get in now because you already missed it. And there are people out there. So yet again, the question that we ask is, if you could invest that $10,000, what is the best return of investment? If you had $10,000 right now in your pocket, what would be the best investment for you? I get people saying gold. I get people saying Bitcoin. I get people saying housing. Great. Those are great ideas. Great place to, put your money into. But investing in yourself, understanding, getting the knowledge, getting the education is the best investment. The best investment you can make is the investment in yourself. The more you learn, the more you earn. Warren Buffett. We gotta keep learning. We gotta keep growing. We gotta keep feeding this brain. Unfortunately, ever since the TV got introduced, we've been feeding a lot of garbage in our head. It's time we took that out and we put positive things. The way you get positive things is when you're around positive people, when you're around motivation people, when you're around. In my car, I always listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to a good lecture. I want to feed positivity. That's why anything negative, and when I started in the beginning of this presentation, I said we could turn a negative into a positive. It's because when you have positive in you, you always come out with a positive result. So then from there, and we start off with where, who's going to guide us? That's where you got New Era. And I started my presentation from there. And you got to let people know why New Era is so important. Why, getting the education is so important. The layoffs that I was talking about, they got replaced because of AI. AI has replaced a lot of those jobs, right? Because you don't have to feed AI. It doesn't take time off. It doesn't take vacations or holidays. It doesn't get sick. It just continues running and running and running. Now, would you rather have that replace your job, or would you invest in knowledge and understanding how AI works so you could have a better future, a better judgment of how AI works, or crypto works, or forex trading works, or blockchain is huge, how blockchain works. So this is where I'm going to leave it off to, is these changes are coming in the world. We got to stay ahead of things. You guys are already ahead because you guys already made the first transaction in crypto by buying an education package or an education course into New Era. The second step that you guys took, the video that I played, is that a small step that you take. The second step you take is you guys are on this call. You guys are willing. You guys are open. You guys are open to the idea of this new technology, this new change. I know change are bad, not bad. Changes are, when we have some change in our life or in our physical thing, it for the good or the bad, we feel it. When we get a paper cut, when you cut your finger, you feel it because you're bleeding. When somebody pulls your tooth out, you feel it for a while, then you get used to it. You understand it. And that's the thing with anything. Once you understand the tools, my education, is in engineering, electrical engineering. I never had a job. I always been independent, always ran my own business. But because I had the knowledge in electrical engineering, I was able to build my business and grow my business by repairing cell phones, by fixing cell phones and pagers and programming it. I made a lot of mistake. I lost money into it because I was programming a phone, an Apple phone, when Apple came out, and I completely crashed it because it was trial and error. But yet again, that error that I made did not allow me to give up and say, oh my God, I can't do this anymore. I kept on trying until I got it right. But what we want to do is we want to eliminate all that middle part and get you directly to the right information, the right detail. Even then, you're going to make mistakes. I have people right now making mistakes, but instead of sending their USDT on TRC20 address, they send it on BEP20, yeah, or the ERC20 on a different wrong chain. Meaning we had to send our money we wanted to send our money going north, we end up sending it south or east or west. It will just keep on going on the loop. There's no recovering of it. So we want to make sure that people understand that this industry itself is not, unfortunately, there are people out there using the industry to make their gain by frauding people, by scamming people, by, giving them false hope. And unfortunately, we fall for that because we have the lack of knowledge. We don't have the understanding. We don't know where to start, how to start, who to talk to, who is even telling us the truth or giving us the right information. It had happened to me many times, but it's a hard lesson that was learned, but not everybody could afford to be in that situation. So I want to thank everybody for coming on this call. Hope you enjoyed this presentation that I did. And I hope that things made sense. I did not do this presentation to scare anybody or to create any political or any agenda. There is no agenda here. I just wanted to put out the real facts and the real information that's being offered out there that's been sugar coated for people and not having the understanding and not having the right knowledge or the information are getting misleaded, misguided. So something I want to say is that's not going to happen on our call, on our watch. We're going to make sure that we deliver the right things and the right information to you guys. Um, Promote our Saturday event. Let's keep building this community as one unit. Don't think of about upline, downline, left line, right line. We are all together. We are one big happy family. We are one community. All of us are available. You're more than welcome to reach out, message us. Don't shy away. And one thing I'm going to tell you, there is no such thing as a stupid question. So please don't get that in your mind. Smallest to biggest, we're here to guide you. We just want to make sure that the next step that you take is guided. If we can guide you, we will direct you to the right people or the right place. I want to thank everybody yet again for coming on. We'll see you guys tomorrow on our Zoom presentation. If anybody wants this presentation, I'm more than welcome to share it with you guys. And if you guys like it, I will be starting to host presentations like this. We're going to continue our Friday training in crypto with Cole. We're going to continue doing our road to success and the mindset training with him and Mandy. And then I'm going to find a medium in between that for you guys to come on and see a presentation like this and have more conversations. So as far as the Visa card presentation goes that I did, I'll get Michael or somebody to upload that pretty soon. So you guys will be able to have that access so you guys could watch it and take it one step at a time. And we'll be creating a lot more informational videos. We got a really great software that the company bought that allows us to use AI. Yet again, we're using AI, making life easier to create a lot of good video content. So things are happening, things are changing. This is a back view of what corporate is doing and the front view of what the world is doing. And the middle of it is what Philip is doing. Presenting. As he said, knee, right? So thanks, everybody. Enjoy your day, enjoy your evenings, enjoy your nights, and we'll talk later. We'll see you guys tomorrow.